I was going to ask you about the director's cut as well, because as a filmmaker, I think like you've made that such a thing. What is it that you think is so worthwhile about kind of presenting two versions of a film?
Well, I think in this case, the real sort of why of the director's cut is that in a genre like this, making a giant space movie is, the economics say you can't really have an R-rated version because, we need the biggest audience to see the movie. And this allows me to sit down and write a crazy movie that has no business existing. And Netflix, in their wisdom, was like, well, I have a way to make that movie exist, the crazy version. And the way you do that is you give me something I can sell that is consistent with your vision.
Good day, legends, and welcome back to Stats In, the only place where Hollywood secrets get dissected with surgical precision, cinematic flair, and a touch of playful sarcasm. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notifications bell because today, we are diving deep into Zack Snyder's world behind the cameras, a world Netflix probably does not want you to see. This is about creative tension, behind-the-scenes drama, and the forces that shaped, challenged, and sometimes clashed with one of the most polarizing directors of our time. Zack Snyder is a filmmaker whose name is synonymous with mythic storytelling, visual grandeur, and polarizing cinema. Yet when it comes to Netflix, reports and insider whispers suggest a story of tension, ambition, and subtle confrontation, a story that Netflix might prefer to keep off the headlines. Snyder's vision for large-scale, cinematic universes often collided with the streaming platform's strategic priorities. Massive budgets, intricate storylines, and operatic sequences required time, resources, and patience, luxuries in a platform environment built around algorithms, metrics, and speed. Insiders have revealed that Snyder's creative process often pushed boundaries that made Netflix executives uncomfortable. He is known for building worlds in meticulous detail. Every shadow, frame, and visual motif is calculated to support a narrative that is as emotionally rich as it is visually stunning. While fans worship this attention to craft, platforms like Netflix prioritize scalable engagement, rapid production schedules, and immediate ROI. Snyder's epic ambitions, while culturally and artistically significant, created a friction point with a corporate machine designed for efficiency. The tension is most visible in budgetary and scheduling conflicts. Snyder is a director who does not compromise on vision. He will spend weeks refining visual effects sequences, perfecting lighting, and ensuring narrative beats hit with the intended emotional resonance. For a streaming platform operating on quarterly metrics and immediate audience data, this level of meticulousness is a challenge. Reports indicate that some projects face delays, budget reviews, and executive concern, not due to quality, but due to scale, ambition, and timing. Essentially, Snyder's art collided with streaming's operational reality. Despite these tensions, Snyder's influence remains undeniable. Fans continue to celebrate his work, theorize about potential projects, and dissect every frame of his releases. His cinematic universe, whether realized fully or partially, continues to dominate discussions, reaction videos, and social media threads. Even when projects face corporate scrutiny, Snyder's brand, vision, and creative authority remain powerful. This is the paradox. Netflix may hesitate, review, and critique, but Snyder still controls fan attention and cultural narrative. One revealing aspect of this dynamic is Snyder's understanding of perception. He knows how to maintain intrigue, speculation, and excitement without explicitly revealing everything. Strategic ambiguity is his secret weapon. Social media posts, cryptic images, and subtle hints about projects create fan anticipation, discussion, and even pressure on platforms to act. This is not merely marketing, it is narrative engineering. Snyder has cultivated a fan base that interprets every action, every post, and every visual cue as meaningful, and the result is sustained engagement and influence. The exposed angle comes from reports that suggest Netflix was not always aligned with Snyder's creative freedom. Executive meetings, internal memos, and discussions allegedly raised concerns about cost, timeline, and the viability of his sprawling universes. Yet, rather than compromise his vision, Snyder continued to pursue ambitious projects, working with collaborators, visual effects teams, and writers to realize his cinematic goals. The tension between Snyder's uncompromising approach and Netflix's corporate priorities has led to speculation that some projects were delayed, downsized, or even quietly shelved. Fans, naturally, have reacted passionately. Loyalists argue that Netflix failed to understand Snyder's vision, prioritizing metrics over creativity and short-term returns over long-term cultural impact. Critics counter that the platform has a responsibility to balance ambition with practicality. In the middle lies a fascinating tension: Snyder, the auteur, versus Netflix, the corporate strategist. And in that tension, the story of the director exposed is revealed, not as scandal, but as a portrait of ambition, vision, and the collision between artistry and industry. Snyder's approach is particularly notable for its integration of narrative, aesthetics, and audience psychology. His films are designed to provoke discussion, speculation, and emotional engagement. Every visual choice carries weight, every storyline is layered,
Good day,
and
legends.
every character. And welcome back to Stats In, where Hollywood drama is dissected with the energy of a rocket launch and the sarcasm of a stand-up comedian trapped inside a blockbuster. Make sure you subscribe and ring that notifications bell because today's story is wild, chaotic, and filled with behind-the-scenes intrigue. Zack Snyder, once hailed as the king of dark, mythic superhero cinema, has gone from powerhouse to pariah in the eyes of some industry insiders, critics, and even fans, as his Netflix empire faces turbulence, scrutiny, and unexpected challenges. Let's rewind for context. When Snyder partnered with Netflix, it was billed as a creative match made in cinematic heaven. A visionary director known for grand operatic storytelling, a loyal and passionate fanbase, and a streaming platform hungry for blockbuster content, it sounded perfect. He had creative freedom, enormous budgets, and the ability to craft worlds that theater limitations could never contain. The partnership promised mythic storytelling in the age of streaming, and the world watched with anticipation. For a moment, Snyder was untouchable, a titan building a universe as vast as his imagination. But then, reality hit. As ambitious as his projects were, they proved complex, costly, and polarizing. Netflix executives reportedly became increasingly concerned about budget overruns, extended timelines, and the sheer scale of his cinematic visions. Snyder's signature style, visually striking, emotionally intense, morally complex, clashes with the modern streaming model, which increasingly prioritizes efficiency, immediate engagement, and content that generates quick metrics. Large-scale ambition, it turns out, is a double-edged sword when your platform is trying to optimize algorithmic performance over mythic storytelling. Fans, of course, remained loyal, but mainstream reception has been mixed. While Snyder's projects are adored by a segment of hardcore supporters, critics often highlight pacing issues, narrative density, and tonal heaviness as obstacles for broader audiences. Netflix, meanwhile, is reportedly reassessing the value of Snyder's universe-scale projects in a rapidly evolving streaming market. It is not that his work is bad, it is that expectations, budgets, timelines, and audience metrics are no longer aligned. Suddenly, the powerhouse feels slightly precarious. The reports of tension are fascinating. Sources suggest Netflix was frustrated by the mismatch between Snyder's vision and their financial and operational models. His cinematic ambitions, while visually and narratively breathtaking, are expensive. Massive budgets, complex post-production workflows, and ambitious visual effects pipelines collided with Netflix's data-driven, metrics-focused environment. Essentially, Snyder was building cathedrals, while Netflix wanted high-efficiency theaters. It is a clash of vision and expectation, and in Hollywood, that clash can turn legends into pariahs overnight. Snyder, of course, is unflappable. He thrives in controversy, thrives in speculation, and understands the long game. His influence over fandom and cultural discourse is immense. Even as Netflix hesitates, his projects continue to dominate conversation.